I purchased a B&D line boring machine with the Bore America bore welder.
I have been around the Sur Mechanica a little and the bore repair systems a little.
We used the Climax.
It was a Climax BB 4500.
Climax probably ain't gonna like me saying this, but the truth's the truth.
The bias powder does a whole lot better than Climax.
Here's my deal with Climax, and it's nothing against Climax as a company, and it's nothing against York as a company, or Elsa, or any of them. My biggest thing is I'm not real big on social media as far as posting anything. Anytime you see anything about line boring stuff on there, if you're not running, even if you're running to York, you know, they're going to say, you should maybe be running a Climax. If you're running a Climax, well, you should be using an Elsa. And all the guys just, I don't know, they act like it's better than anything else out. And to me, it doesn't make any sense. Just because you were stupid enough to give 60 grand for something.
That Elsa machine would literally cost 4 times what I paid for my house.
As these become more popular, you're going to see more and more people eating up that market. And I'm sure Climax is going to have to start countering, maybe making a more budget-friendly deal, and same thing to some of the other ones like Malco and Elsa.
For one Climax versus this, you could probably buy 4 of these versus one Climax.
The Climax, you have to take the motor off to set up the bore welder.
The Climax is, I mean, it's a nice machine, but you know, it takes a while to set it up.
The Elsas and some of the other ones that I've watched, you can't even talk with the machine running.
There's no comparison between the B&D and this S-Power unit. I can take 3 times the size cut with this S-Power unit.
And I barely have this thing turned up, and it's cutting at a good RPM to where that Climax wouldn't even come close to what I'm comfortable at cutting on this. The previous machine where I worked at the shop with the Climax, I mean, you know, you have to order specific brushes from Climax to be able to repair your motor, and you know, they'll say they'll overnight them to you, and about 2 weeks later they show up.
You can call Climax, you can call every B1. They're not going to call that.
I waited 6 weeks to even hear back on building a setup to get a quote whenever I got a hold of a Climax dealer.
Pretty good buddy of mine does some line boring. He's got a York setup, and he was born on an excavator, and he was just right outside of town here. And I was telling him a little bit about S-Power, and he said, well, if you get time, I'd really like to see that. Really like to see what that's all about. And I pulled up in my service truck, and he says, you bring your setup? I said, yeah, I got it right here. And he looks at it, and he says, this it? I said, yeah, that's it, all there in them cases. And he says, man, that fits in there? I said, yeah. I said, and he's got stuff strung out all over the place. And shoot, you dang near got to have a forklift and all kinds of stuff to unload and load stuff back up. And I think he's got his set up where you can pick it with a crane.
Anybody that's dealt with Climax and their big boxes know you need like at least a 6-foot or more bed to load everything in.
The Bore America come in an aluminum box.
I got a nice crate out of another line boring system I bought, and it happens to be a piece of junk, so I put all my good stuff in their crate.